ทุกคนค่ะสวัสดีค่ะอาจารย์ค่ะ
vào cái group nào mai năm 33
Không cái phòng Hải ơi, bên chị Tâm mạng đang yếu, cậu với cả bên Thanh Tâm dịch nhá. Không dẫn được đâu, đang xử lý bao nhiêu linh tinh.
Good afternoon, Achan, John, and Sarah. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clear. Thanks. Hi.
So you can see that. So it's already the first offline official and monthly official meeting that the friends in Ho Chi Minh and surrounding area, they gather in the new Dhamma house, and they just had a meeting discussion yesterday afternoon. We translate enjoy some of the discussion with about Nina, and then after that they talk a little bit more, and also there was a discussion this morning. Yep, and then
very nice, good, congratulations, everyone.
Thank you. So I think let me check people in the room if they're ready, and also if people in Zoom we're ready.
Bắt đầu đi cậu
dạ
ơi.
dạ được rồi.
Hello. Hello, testing.
We can hear you.
Dạ nghe rõ ạ. Dạ nghe được, nghe rõ. Anh chưa có câu hỏi em ạ. Để cho các bạn. Nếu không ai có câu hỏi thì anh đặt được câu hỏi. Ok, anh tắt.
Yes, so we're going to have a question from Mr. Dao to start with.
I have a short question I would like to bring up today. this morning we discussed a lot about the understand about parijati, and there are a lot of level in understand about parijati. So can the teachers say a little bit about it? Thank you.
Yes, can you repeat the word something, Sati? I didn't catch it, please.
It's pariyati.
Oh, pariyati. Thank you.
So we begin to consider a little more about what is
bị lỗi.
Yes,
some
Sarah.
problem.
No problem. I will start to translate.
Because I could hear Tiny Tom talking.
Oh,
Yes, she said that I cover her, so it should be okay. Yes, yes,
Okay.
we're ready.
So we begin to hear and consider a little more about what is true, what is real now. For example, we think about Nina or this person or that person, but what is heard is just sound. Sound is real. Hearing is real. Thinking about the sound is real. But the idea, Nina, the flowers, the other friends, are just ideas. So the beginning of Pariyati understanding is beginning to hear and consider what is real, different from what is the idea, the story that we are so used to. But this understanding is not firm enough. It's just a very beginning of intellectual understanding. If someone else comes along and says, oh, we better go and stay in the temple to study more, or we better go and practice in this way, maybe we will follow because there's so little understanding, just the beginning. So the understanding about what is true now, what is real, has to become firmer and firmer. The understanding has to develop so that there's more and more confidence that this is the truth, that there are just these different nama dhammas and rupa dhammas, the realities that can experience and the realities that cannot experience. No one to be found who can do anything, who can find a shortcut, who can control what arises now. So there's more and more confidence that no matter whether we're watching television, making lunch, going out with our friends, or sitting in the new Dhamma home, there are only ever those realities experiencing an object like seeing and hearing and the different mental factors, and those realities that don't experience anything. In truth, no Suchin here, no Nina ever was, no one here at all, just different realities arising and falling away. But there has to be so much listening and considering for that pariyati understanding to be really firm, for it to be the Satchanyana that can, the Satchanyana of the first round that can understand about the Four Noble Truths intellectually and firmly enough to condition the direct understanding of realities. In another discussion, Zhao, yesterday, you were asking about direct understanding, satipatthana, but without the firm intellectual understanding, there will always be the idea of I doing something, I being aware. So it's not the understanding of what sati is, the awareness that has to develop with right understanding of the reality at this moment. So pariyatti understanding has to develop, just as the awareness of realities has to develop, just as the virya, the right effort has to develop, all the right factors have to develop together. And this is why we come together and discuss and question, because there are bound to be so many doubts and so many uncertainties, what if and how and why, because the confidence and the understanding is not firm enough. And this is the point of discussing and considering in order for understanding to develop and in order for there to be the firm understanding that there really is no one here, no thing here, just different dhammas arising and falling away by conditions.
So pariyatti is the beginning level of understanding. It is understanding that has the idea, the concept of a reality as its object. In other words, it is understanding that is not yet direct understanding of a reality. When we first hear the Dhamma, we hear about things that we have never thought about before, never experienced. And the hearing of the Buddha's description of the way things are is a condition to consider whether things might be that way. And sometimes there can be a level of understanding of the way things are. For example, just as one example that comes to my mind, that what is experienced, that the experiencing and the object experienced through, for example, the eyeball, is completely different from the experiencing and the object that is experienced through the eardrum. And for some people that may resonate. They may get the idea quickly than others because of, I suppose, developed tendencies, accumulated tendencies, and so forth. Everyone is different in what will make sense to them and will be a condition for some level of weak or beginning understanding. The other point I would like to make is that we don't have to dwell too much on what is pariyatti and what is direct understanding. When the time comes, that will be apparent. But as Sarah said, every instance of direct understanding has to be preceded, not at that moment, but at some time there has to be pariyatti level of understanding developed to the degree that it is firm, for there to be direct understanding. So we could also think of pariyatti as the precursor for direct understanding. Hope that explains something, but it will be interesting to, after Ajahn has spoken, perhaps to hear more from Zhao about why he's interested in pariyatti things.
Just listen to the truth, is that all? To understand that there is no understanding of the truth of what is there. So each conditioned moment of beginning to pay attention to the truth of what is there now. Otherwise, there cannot be the understanding of the difference between ignorant and right understanding. Because even it's there, it cannot be known. It's there already.
Okay. Sorry, Ajahn, there was some problem, but it is okay now.
So now, just listen to the truth of what is there, little by little. And that is the development of understanding the very subtle reality. That is the development of right understanding to understand more and deeper and deeper and deeper to realize the truth of what is heard right now. See, there is what is seeing. We call it seeing. We know that it sees no one, but the understanding of the truth is so very, very little because it's so very subtle. And this is the beginning of the development of the true understanding of the truth, that it has to understand the subtlety of what is there as it is, that it cannot be known without hearing about the truth of it and consider the truth, and the understanding begins to develop to just understand the truth, that it's beyond any desire or attachment to experience it by oneself or by just thinking about it, but it's there and it needs more and more words to develop to understand the truth of it. That it's there unknown, it's so very subtle, and that is the main point of the beginning of understanding the truth, to let go the idea of thinking about this or thinking about that. But what about the words of truth about it? It's there already by conditions. In a day, is there any moment of any thought about it as it is? Not at all. No, not enough condition for it to arise, to begin to attend to the characteristic of that which sees. But from hearing and hearing and hearing again and again and again, right understanding begin to enroot the truth of the subtle reality which is there so very shortly, and it's so very difficult to realize the truth that it's there and then gone, never to arise again. But from hearing again and again and again, it let go the idea of trying to do something, but to have firm confidence of each reality as it's different from the others. Just a moment when it's there and then gone, and this is life. So it let go the ignorance about what is there now, so very short, and it does not belong to anyone. It cannot be taken for anything because it's gone. Only few words about the truth is conditioned to go deeper and deeper, to let go the idea of someone or something unknowingly, secretly, by its way. Nothing can be done. Only the moment of hearing, considering, understanding. And at the moment of thinking about the truth, that it can be known, but not so soon. It takes quite a long time to be truthful to what is there now when it's heard, that it is not as it is at all. The arising and falling away of what is there does not show up at all. That's the way it is. That's why we learn a little more why not and why is that way. And this is the only way to let go wrong understanding of it as something, as someone, or me, or things around. That's all. This is the way it develops. So there are Abhidhamma and then Sutta. And Sutta is daily life or Abhidhamma, but it appears as different characteristic, different situation, different idea from time to time. And now it's the way it is. And it's gone. To be reminded, to have firm confidence of the truth. No one at moment of seeing, at moment of thinking, different realities by conditions.
Hi, I think there's a bit of a problem with the sound quality because of Jan's getting an echo effect, which I can hear, which makes it difficult for her to speak.
Yes, I think there was one. I think it is okay now. There was one participant who didn't mute the mic.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, sorry, Ajahn.
Yes, that's why we learn about what is there in a day. When time comes, when there are conditions to attend, to think, to consider what is there, little by little. They are real, but so very short and then gone. It cannot be object of clinging at moment of understanding it no more. Only a moment of what is there arising and falling away all the time, from moment to moment in life, from life to life. And that's the way it is. And this is the understanding of the truth, different from moment when just live without understanding what is there at all, now and then, from birth to death. But there can be the understanding of the truth little by little, so very little by little. Who knows how much understanding now developing to the moment to understand it clearer, a little more clearer and clearer, little by little. But without discussing on what is there as it is, there cannot be any understanding of the truth that is so deep that it needs how long to develop the confidence of the truth. It can be known, but when there's a little more considering from hearing, reading, thinking, and so on, by conditions. And by conditions is the way to let go the idea of anyone can do, or I can do, or she can do. No one can do, because in truth, no one at all. Not at all, because once it's there, it's gone forever in life. Nina disappear, see, for good, never to be Nina again. But what is there is conditioned to arise and fall away, on and on. After death, it's there again, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and then gone. By conditions, not to be that being, that personality, experiences what is there in this life as something or someone. Who knows? The life of a cat, the life of a worm, the life of the deva, and so on, by conditions. But right understanding can be only hearing about the truth of what is there as so very, very deep and subtle, and right understanding begins to go down deeper and deeper, so very gradually to understand the truth of this moment that arises and falls away by conditions. The same word, hearing again, considering again, understanding again, again and again and again. That's the only way to understand the depth of the truth.
And so I think you asked about sati, the pariyatti of sati. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, I do.
So the pariyatti is the understanding that has to develop of whatever object appears, hearing now, seeing now. Sati, there has to be the consideration of what sati is. We know it's a mental factor, and we know that at any moment when kusala chittas arise, there is sati. It is, for example, at a moment of generosity or kindness. It is mindful not to be akusala at that moment. It is the guarding of what is wholesome, that is aware of what is good at that moment. And we know that when it is the sati that develops with right understanding of realities, it is the reality that is aware of the characteristic that appears without the development of understanding of what is true now, what can be known now, such as the sound that is heard now. There cannot be awareness of it. So they have to develop together. There has to be understanding for sati to develop on and on until it is awareness that is directly aware of the reality with right understanding. Now, you asked in the discussion yesterday about Nina's last question about when there is and isn't satipatthana. And as Jonathan said, we don't have to look for it, look for when there is and there isn't satipatthana, because as understanding develops firmer and firmer, understanding the reality that appears, it is the understanding that knows how firm that understanding it is, and whether it is pariyatti understanding or direct understanding. Now, at the end of the discussion yesterday, Ajahn asked you, what is sati and what is patthana? So when she asked what is patthana, I don't think there was any further discussion. The patthana refers to the object of awareness. So it is sati gochara, the object of awareness at the moment of direct understanding. So when there is understanding of seeing, when it's pariyatti understanding, like now, it's thinking about the reality of seeing. But when it is satipatthana, seeing is the object, but it is the direct understanding of that characteristic by way of nimitta, always by way of nimitta, not the actual seeing itself, because the seeing arises and falls away so quickly. It's not one seeing, but many seeings that have arisen and fallen away. The characteristic can be directly known. And then it is the patana, sati patana, the object of sati with right understanding. I think we may have discussed before that there are 3 meanings of satipatthana. So this is the first meaning, referring to the object of sati that arises with at the moment of direct understanding of the reality. And the second meaning refers to the path that has been taken by the Buddha and his disciples, satipatthana. It can only be the path for those who have followed the Buddha's teachings and become and directly known the truths. This is satipatthana, the second meaning. And the third meaning refers to sati, the cetasika, at the moment of the direct understanding. So the first meaning refers to the object, the patthana of awareness and understanding. The second meaning to the path taken by the Buddha and his disciples. And the third meaning refers to the cetasika of sati arising with the direct understanding. But these are words and terms. In truth, the understanding develops now, becomes firmer and firmer until no doubt about what is direct understanding, different from pariyatti understanding. Do you have any questions, Sal, or is that a little clearer? Oh, I forgot my video.
It's so helpful for me. So I really appreciate about the teaching. Thank you. And I think less time for others. Thank you.
Because I think the discussion finished a little bit quickly yesterday and there was a bit of uncertainty. So I just wish to clarify that point. Thank you, Zhao.
And it's gone. Just once, not enough.
Could you please explain a little bit more about the second meaning? Dạ, nhờ bà giải thích thêm một cái ý số 2 là con đường của chư Phật đã đi ạ.
So the second meaning referring to the path. So the path of Satipatthana, the Buddha taught there is only one path, only one way. And this is the way of the development of Satipatthana. Some people may think there are many different ways and they all lead to enlightenment. One can follow different practices. There are different approaches to reach the destination. But the Buddha taught there is only one way, and that is the development of Satipatthana. And without the direct understanding and awareness of realities now, the seeing now, the hearing now, there cannot be the development of this way that was taken by the Buddha and his disciples. So the pariyatti is like the very beginning of the way. It is the precursor that leads to the way, leading to enlightenment. Without pariyatti, there couldn't be satipatthana, which is also patipatti. But the way is actually the direct understanding, the pariyatti understanding, the wise consideration of the truth in the end is of no value without the direct understanding. So it has to lead to the way followed by the Buddha, taught by the Buddha of Satipatthana. And I think, as Ajahn was saying, each of these realities, seeing now, hearing, thinking about this word or this term, each one is gone instantly, each one conditioned, not in anyone's control at all. So what about now? What can be known at this moment? For example, hardness that is touched now. Without the understanding of what appears right now, there can never be the following of the one way taught by the Buddha. Please continue, Ajahn.
All gone. See, there is understanding at moment of hearing and considering, and after that, all gone. That's why the other moment is conditioned by the accumulation of akusala and so on in a day. That's why even it's so clear at moment of understanding from hearing, considering. But when the other moments are conditioned by akusala, it's forgotten. So, but it's accumulated little by little until it gets firmer and firmer to understand the truth. Whenever it's repeated and talking and discussing on it again and again and again, to know that even right understanding at that moment is not permanent. The way it develops against or among akusala, see, it takes how long to have firmer and firmer understanding of the truth of what is heard just then, again and again and again. That is the very great patience to understand the truth, that it's just against akusala so soon, because there are conditions for akusala to arise much more than moment of understanding. But it can develop patiently, gradually, truthfully, to know it at moment when it's there appearing closer and closer to the truth. So just no understanding of how much is there, but each moment of understanding is there accumulated. And that's the way to be patient, to be able to understand the truth as one has heard. When the condition is there, ready to condition moment of experiencing the truth clearly, stage by stage, step by step. Just understand at moment of considering, and after that, see, it's gone. And what is after that? By conditions, accumulation, akusala or kusala. That's why understanding the truth when we are talking about it. For example, sati, we heard this word, sati, as we heard citta, and we heard lopa. But they are different realities by conditions. See, they are different realities by conditions. Even that word is firm enough to let go the idea of self or I at any moment, even moment of sati. That's why there can be the understanding of the difference between the intellectual understanding of what is there now and the moment when it's there. Begin to understand the sati when it's there only as satipatthana, because it is the beginning of being aware of that which has been understood more and more and more, to know it as it is, as what it's heard. That's why when whatever appears, it's as we have heard, just exactly the same. So it depends on time and courage and understanding, developing by itself in its own way. So this is time to understand the truth of what is there, as Chitta is Chitta, Sati is Sati, and Panya is Panya. And that is the way to let go. I have or I am such and such, little by little, joyfully, the way it is. So natural, normal in life, what is there, depending on conditions only, to understand it, to attend to the characteristic with thinking, considering, not just directly understanding the nature of that which appears yet, but it's there, developing little by little. Is that the way it is in life now? And that is the way to let go the clinging with ignorance, wanting it to be directly experienced so soon. And that is wrong. It's very easy to go wrong because of ignorance and attachment. But understanding it's beyond control, it's beyond anyone's effort, because it is a reality. It has its own characteristic and its own conditions for its arising. That's all. Once it's heard, and again, it begins to understand what's true and what is not true. So we have heard about the characteristic of sati at moment of kusala. What condition kusala moment? It's that reality which is guarding the reality not to be akusala. In a moment, by condition, not beyond anyone's control. It's there already and it's gone already. But it's there as a reality different from the other. So sati is not seeing. Seeing is citta, the chief of experiencing. Different ones, so many realities from moment to moment, beyond imagination, incredible. It changes from moment to moment, never be the same that has fallen away at all, never to arise again. But it conditions more and more reality happening by conditions, and we take it for situation and people and things. But in truth, what is there? It's just the arising and falling away so very rapidly, unknown all the time. And that can be known because now we learn about the six doorways. Seeing is there now, and there is mind or thinking of that which is seen. But it's not the either process because it's moment of thinking through mind or, and that's the way it is. After seeing mind or process, taking it for something by conditions accumulated, different happenings, this different personality, different event, all are different conditions, realities, citta, cetasika, and rupa. So learn to understand that understanding is not sati. But without sati, there cannot be understanding. See? But sati can arise without understanding. Because there can be moment of kusala without right understanding. But whenever there is right understanding, sati is there. Until it develops to the degrees of satipatthana, directly aware of the reality which appears with a little bit of understanding of the nature of that which appears little by little. Once it's there, it depends on conditions for whether it arises again at different moments, different situation, unexpectedly. And that's the way of understanding the unnothingness of what is there beyond control, no one there at all. What is there is just so short and it's gone. Seeing is not hearing, it's not thinking right now. Understanding each reality a little more can be a moment of attending to just one characteristic, even it's so short. But the moment of attending to the characteristic of a reality is different from moment when there's no attention to any reality at all right now. Each one is gone and gone and gone and gone without attention at all. And the moment when it's there is different from moment when it's not there. Understanding is different from ignorance. And what is there at moment of understanding? Not only understanding itself, other realities known directly, experienced clearly by the enlightened one. So he told us about the truth of what is there in split seconds, of split seconds, see, to understand the truth. So very deep down under the surface of people and things. In truth, without any reality. To sorry, see another moment of different realities, different from moment to moment, uncontrollable.
Cùng với cái nghĩa gọi là trung đạo không ạ? Mà hay nói đến đó chị. Chùm gia em không biết từ trung đạo.
Sorry Achan, Cương ơi, Achan đang giảng bằng tiếng Anh ý, hình như sao có tiếng Cương nói tiếng Việt vào đây.
Yeah, could you please explain a little bit about the middle way? It is same as we are talking about the Satipatthana, or for yeah.
Yes, the middle way is exactly what we're talking about. The right path, the path of the development of Satipatthana, is the middle way as taught by the Buddha, not the opposite of following any of the wrong ways, wrong understanding, wrong effort, wrong everything. So the middle way is the right way, the way of avoiding wrong, extreme ways. It is just the direct understanding of the truth here and now. Hi, there is a lady in the top of my screen, Fong, who's had her hand up, maybe waiting to ask a question for a long time. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's like, exactly. So invite Chị Ngô Phong to can raise your question in Vietnamese, and then I will translate.
Con xin chào bà và chào các quý anh các chị ạ. Trần Rắc Mương Thay, Trần Ma Trạc, Việt Nam. Em xin có con xin có câu hỏi tiếng Việt đó là con là người mới, và con đã có những buổi được nghe bà Achan và ông John, bà Sarah, thì con được nghe các ông bà hướng dẫn con là hãy nghe đi nghe lại về cái thấy, cái hiểu, rồi sự vô ngã, và con xin được bà bố thí pháp thêm giúp cho con để con rõ hơn về cái hiểu, cái thấy và cái vô ngã.
Good afternoon, Achan, John, and Sarah. I am the new person, and I had listened to Achan, John, and Sarah teaching, and the guidance that we should hear again and again about the seeing, the understanding, and anatta. So I want to ask Achan, Sarah, and John to teach a little bit more about this aspect, about seeing, understanding, and anatta. Thank you.
Perhaps I will start. Thank you for your good question, Ngọc Phong. So first of all now, is there seeing at this moment?
Dạ. Dạ có, con đang thấy mọi người trong Zoom ạ.
Just now I see the people in the Zoom.
So it seems that I see the people in the Zoom. But what is this I that sees? Is I a reality? What is I?
Dạ không ạ. Không có tôi ở đây. Không. Theo như con vừa được học Pháp trong thời gian qua thì không có con ở đây, không có Phong ở đây ạ.
From what I learned so far, there is no Phong, there's no me.
And what about the truth? Because otherwise we just repeat what we have heard. But now at this moment of seeing, is it possible to find I or me?
Là duyên giúp cho con được thấy cái đó.
These are all conditions that help me to see something.
Can I be seen? Can there be seeing of I?
Dạ không ạ.
No, there can't be.
Why not?
Bởi vì nếu có con ở trong đó thì nó lại sự là dính mắc, là con thấy hay là Phong thấy thì nó là cái sự của con dính mắc vào đó.
Because it's actually attachment. If there is an I, that I see something, it is attachment.
So what is seen at this moment? You mentioned before that there are people in the Zoom. If there is no thinking about people and no thinking about Zoom, can the seeing see people and Zoom?
Dạ không ạ.
No, it can't.
So what is seen at this moment in truth? Because it is the thinking that thinks about Zoom. If we've never heard of Zoom, there would be no thinking about Zoom. It's the thinking that thinks about people. If we'd never heard about different people, Hang and Tam and Hai and so on, there would be no thinking about Hang and Tai and Ham. But because we've heard about them, there is thinking about them. So what is actually seen now?
Là tâm con thấy ạ. Thưa bà, là do tâm con thấy.
It is my chitta that see.
We're talking now about what is seen, because we're looking at considering whether there is any I in truth that can be found, because before you said it's I that sees, or my chitta that experiences. So I'm wondering, what is this I? Can the I be seen or only thought about?
Dạ thưa bà, đó là ý niệm ạ, được nghĩ về ạ.
It is a concept.
It's an
was thought
idea.
about. Yeah.
Because what is seen now is just color or just what is visible, the visible object. But so quickly there's an idea about people and places and names, shapes, details. And what is heard now?
Con nghe âm thanh ạ.
I hear the sound.
It's sound that is heard. So it's only the color or visible object that's seen. It's only the color that, the sound that is heard, the odor that is smelt, the tangible object that is touched, the taste that is tasted. So no I that is actually experienced, only thought about. So when we think, I see, I hear, I taste, I touch, it's just thinking about the idea of an I that sees and hears. But actually no I can be found, because at a moment of seeing, it is just the seeing, the chitta that experiences. It doesn't belong to me, it's not mine, it's not I, and it's not my chitta. It's just the chitta itself, the seeing itself, which arises and sees the visible object at this very moment. But so quickly there's thinking about the color, thinking about the shape, thinking about the pattern, thinking about tiny tam or suchin. So the thinking is different from the seeing. Without understanding and considering about what the seeing is and what is seen now, there will always be the idea of I see, and there will always be the idea of people and things that are seen. So this is why only understanding can understand what seeing is. And without the understanding, there will always be the idea of I, and there will always be the idea of things and people that are seen. So it's only understanding that can understand that these realities, like seeing and hearing, what is seen, what is heard, are dhammas. They're dhammas arising by conditions. And this is the meaning of anatta. No one there, no thing there, just seeing, which arises by conditions, not by I wishing it to arise, not by I making it arise, not by I stopping it from arising, but it arises by its conditions because it's anatta and it falls away instantly. Is that a little bit clearer? Beginning to understand a little bit about what seeing is as a Dhamma?
Dạ, con rất là biết ơn bà về con nhận ra là các pháp là do duyên, nó được sinh khởi lên và cũng diệt đi ngay.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate your teaching. And I realize that all the Dhamma are conditioned. They arise and falls away immediately. Chị nói tiếp đi.
So it's the beginning of the pariyatti understanding, but not firm enough, because maybe next moment there will be the idea of I hear a bird or I taste delicious food, because the clinging, which you mentioned before, clinging to the idea of I, my experience, something that is experienced, is so firmly rooted. So this is why there has to be, as you mentioned at the start, hearing and considering and reflecting again and again. Otherwise, we just repeat the words, but not really understand what is true at this moment. And I'm sure Ajahn would like to, or be happy to add more on this point, and also the other point about the middle way too.
What's the point of listening to what we are discussing?
Bà hỏi em ạ. Con chào bà. Con thưa bà, mục đích là để giúp con có sự hiểu, có thêm cái hiểu, và để rồi suy xét về những cái con hiểu, con thấy về duyên, sự vô ngã. Con hiểu được đến đấy. Bà giúp thêm con ạ.
So the purpose of listening is so that there can be understanding, there can be consideration about understanding about the conditions and anatta.
So what is anatta?
Dạ, con thưa bà là các pháp là vô ngã.
Dhammas are anatta.
That's why we can talk about each word a little more. What is Dhamma? See?
Dạ, con thưa bà, pháp là vô ngã.
Yes.
Con thưa bà, pháp là một cái sự thật. Pháp là duyên. Pháp là danh, là sắc. Mọi thứ, rất là nhiều thứ có thể đều là pháp ạ.
So Dhamma are reality, Dhammas are conditions, Dhamma nama, Dhammas are many things.
Is Dhamma there now?
Con thưa bà, cho con chia sẻ thêm ạ. Suy nghĩ hay con vui, con buồn, con thấy cái nghe cũng là pháp ạ. Con hiểu tiếp được thế.
So I understand that Dhamma is what I thought about is the happiness, the unhappiness, the seeing. That's what I understand now.
Can we say that what is real and has its characteristic? It cannot be anyone or anything at all. It's conditioned to arise to be only that and then gone. Is that the characteristic of Dhamma?
Vâng ạ.
Yes, it is.
Is it firm enough to understand that Dhamma is Dhamma, no one at all?
Dạ.
And when there's no considering of any Dhamma right now, how can there be firm confidence of Dhamma as a Dhamma, not anything or anyone at all? In order to have firm understanding of what is there as no one, it's just a reality which has its characteristic and its function whenever it's there, arising to experience any object right now. Understanding not just the word Dhamma, but the reality of a Dhamma. Each Dhamma has its own characteristic. No one can change, no one can make it different at all. Can see be something else? Or seeing arises just to see and then gone. Arise again, see again, gone again.
Dạ thưa bà, cách đúng.
So there's a little more understanding of Dhamma is Dhamma, no one at all. So is there any doubt about Dhamma? We can say that there is Dhamma right now, but what Dhamma is there now? The word or a reality is there now.
Thưa bà, là thực tại ngay bây giờ ở đây ạ. Và trong đó có cả ngôn từ thưa bà.
It is all reality that is now, and that including words.
And why do you say Dhamma and Dhamma and Dhamma more and more on and on? Because to condition moment of thinking about the truth of it, that actually it's forgotten all the time, but it's just a reality which arises by conditions. That's why when it's time for discussing, we talk about it again and again to enroot the right understanding firmer and firmer, to understand that what is there, it's real. It has its own characteristic, but it's not known as it is yet if you don't talk about it a little more. So what Buddha taught about is only what is there in life from moment to moment, everything which is real. At moment of understanding, is the I understand?
Dạ thưa bà không ạ.
No, Ajahn.
At moment of talking about Dhamma and understanding, is it I who understands?
Dạ không ạ.
No, Ajahn.
So what is there? which is not I.
Dạ không có gì cả, là do duyên sinh khởi và diệt đi ngay ạ.
There's nothing and no one, Ajahn, is all conditioned.
It is a reality, right? Different from ignorance, no understanding. So in the day, there can be moment of understanding ignorance. When there is the understanding of ignorance, and right understanding is there at moment of understanding. What is there is ignorance, but it's just words, not the moment of really enlighten the truth of a characteristic which is there as a characteristic of a reality. Otherwise, I and sanya and other reality are there as I, unknown I. Even right now, I know or I understand is there. When there's not enough understanding of what is there as it is, little by little, of whatever is there, by conditions, no choice. So is there any question?
Dạ thưa bà, con rất biết ơn bà và con rất yêu bà. Và em biết ơn các chị phiên dịch, và con tiếp tục học và con ghi nhớ những điều bà dặn là hãy cứ nghe mỗi ngày, hãy cứ nghe và suy xét. Và xin cho con xin phép tạm dừng câu hỏi ở đây ạ. Em biết ơn các anh chị.
Thank you, Ajahn, and I love you very much. I will remember what you have taught and your teaching, that listen and consider. So for now, I won't have any question.
So let me ask you, is seeing a Dhamma now?
Dạ có.
Yes, it is.
What kind of Dhamma is it? Is it a Nama Dhamma or a Rupa Dhamma?
Dạ, thưa bà, con mới học nên con hiểu, con mới biết là cái gì mình thấy thì là danh. Bà giúp con thêm ạ.
Yes, I'm just a beginner, so my understanding is what I see is Nama. So please help me.
Okay. So we discussed before that we think it's I that see, but actually it's just the Dhamma, the reality of seeing which sees, no I to be found, seeing which sees. And there are two kinds of Dhammas. There are those Dhammas that experience an object, such as seeing or hearing. These we recall Namas. They're realities, Dhammas that can experience an object. Different from those realities, those Dhammas that cannot experience anything, such as the visible object or the sound. So the visible object and the sound are also Dhammas, but they are not Nama Dhammas. They're not Namas that experience. They are Rupas, those Dhammas that cannot experience anything. So whatever is true in life now is either a Nama or a Rupa. Nama are those that experience, Rupas don't experience. So what about at a moment of tasting? Is tasting a Nama or is it arupa?
Thưa bà là danh ạ.
It's a nama.
It's a nama. Is there I that can taste? Can I taste anything?
Dạ thưa bà không ạ.
She said no. No.
So what tastes?
Vậy thì cái gì nếm?
Dạ cái tâm nếm ạ.
Cheetah that taste.
It's the cheetah that tastes. It's the tasting cheetah that tastes. And is the cheetah that tastes a nama dhamma or a rupa dhamma?
Em xin lỗi chỗ nhà em hơi ồn tí.
Không nghe được câu hỏi.
Dạ em có.
Tưởng nhà ai ạ?
Because as we
Dạ, em
said,
xin lỗi nhà em ạ.
as we said, it is just the tasting, the chitta that tastes, not I that taste. And as you said before, tasting is a nama because it experiences the object. And whatever is real is a dhamma. So it's a nama dhamma, not a rupa dhamma. It's the kind of dhamma that experiences the object, different from what is tasted. The taste, the flavor that is experienced is a rupa. It doesn't experience anything. So we learn about these different realities, those that experience an object, the namas, which include the chittas, which you've mentioned, and the cetasikas, the mental factors. These are different from the rupas, the realities, the dhammas that don't experience anything. We learn about the difference between these two kinds of dhammas in order to understand no I to be found, no I that sees, no I that hears, no I that tastes, no I or thing that is seen, no I or thing that is heard, no I or thing that is tasted. Just different dhammas arising and falling away, the namas and the rupas. So a few points to consider and listen again and again, because in the beginning it's so different from our usual way of thinking, of I see people and things. So it's not a matter of just repeating what one has heard because someone has told us, but understanding what is true at this moment. Can I be found? Can people be found or only thought about?
Dạ thưa bà, là những cái ý niệm mình được nghĩ về, chứ không có ai ở đó, không có con hiểu hay là không có Phong hiểu, không có gì ở đây hết á. Con sorry, chắc là con hơi ồn chút.
I'm very sorry because of the background noise at the place where I am.
No problem, it's just daily life. So at those moments of knocking, what is heard?
Thưa bà, đó chính là âm thanh ạ.
There is sound.
Thanh tắc động vào nhĩ căn và đây là danh ạ.
The sound that impinges on the ear sense.
Just sound that is heard. But so quickly there is thinking about the idea, the loud noise, the workman, the interference, this and that. So usually we live in the world of ideas and dreams and stories and forget it's just sound that is heard for a moment and then gone. And this is a rupa. The sound is a rupa. It cannot experience anything. And we find it very important what is heard. We like some sounds and don't like others, but it's just sound that's heard for a moment and then gone. No one there, no thing there at all. Thank you very much. You have good questions, good topics.
Dạ, con biết ơn bà Achan, bà Sarah đã bố thí pháp giúp con ạ. Em biết ơn. Chị
Thank
phiên dịch
you very much. I'm very thankful for the Anna of Dhamma that you have given me.
And it's helpful for everyone to be reminded that now we think of the big wide world, but actually the world is just at this moment, just at a moment of hearing of sound. We think about the noise and the interference and the different people, but the world is just a moment of hearing of sound and then gone, and another moment thinking about an idea and then gone. So the world comes back just to this very moment.
And could you please have to elaborate a little bit more about the Parame and Kusala? Yeah. Achan, could you please have to elaborate more about Parame and Kusala? Dạ, con kính nhờ Achan và quý thầy giải thích hộ con về cái sự khác biệt giữa ba la mật và thiện pháp.
Can we say that right understanding is there when there's no thought about akusala? To understand what is kusala and what is akusala, there can be a little more understanding of what is nama, because rupa cannot be kusala or akusala. And there are so many different realities arising and falling away so very rapidly in a day. That's why we learn to understand some of them, which can be known through one of the 6 doorways. No matter in what world, what appears can appear only through one of the 6 doorways. Seeing in any realm, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking. After each moment of seeing and hearing through the 5 doorways, thinking follows instantly. But in order to understand the truth, it's not just a word which can be understood, that nama is a reality which arises and experiences the object, but learn to understand this very moment, that it's there, experiencing what is there as something appearing. For example, what is seen is there, it's real, but it cannot appear without the reality which experiences it, which we call it seeing. It sees that which is seen now, and the thinking thing about that which is seen as something all the time. Even the sound just a moment ago, what is it? See, the idea of something is there, but it's not known as what is that sound. So the question is about what is it? See, just think about that which is heard or that which is seen all the time. Without thinking, there's no word of idea or someone or something at all. That's why we learn to understand each doorway of experiencing. There is moment of seeing for sure, but without the eye, they cannot be seeing. So seeing depends on many conditions. Even there is the eye, but nothing impinge on it. How can it condition moment of seeing that which is there? That's why learn to understand that no one at all, because whatever is there, all are by conditions, and not just one condition. While there is moment of seeing pleasant things, and sometimes unpleasant things, by conditions. And what is the condition for seeing the pleasant object or the unpleasant object? There must be condition for everything. It can be the near cause or condition, or far away, long time ago, still there, ready to condition when time comes. So life is not known as it is at all without the enlightened one who, as Bodhisattva, thought that what is there can be known about its truth, the absolute truth, that it's not there anymore. From life to life, hearing again and again, and have a little more confidence until it's time to realize the truth, enlighten the truth. From the very beginning to the end, the moment of birth, what is there? See, a reality which experiences, but the object is not known, because it's not the object of the six doorways of this world. That's why learn to understand life as only different realities, to let go the ignorance and clinging to that which appears experienced as I who see, I who hear, I who now thinking, I who now like, and so on in life from birth to death, unknown, until hearing about the truth of each moment as it is. For example, this moment of seeing is conditioned to arise to see. Is it true? Beginning to understand whatever comes in life must be by conditions, near or far cost condition for its arising. That's all. This is the letting go gradually, so very gradual, the understanding, the firmer and firmer confidence of the truth, letting go wrong understanding. And the idea, only thinking, take it for something, because the arising and falling away of what is there now is not known, it's not realized yet. But the truth is the truth. The truth can become true little by little. There is touching. It's different from seeing. That which is experienced is hard, while what is seen is not hard at all. And this is life from moment to moment, to be known, to be learned, to be understood as what is the reality, the truth of that which is there now. No one. Is it firm enough? That's why we learn more, discuss more, to understand the truth little by little, to have firm confidence. And firm confidence is letting go. No method to try to know it, to experience it, because that is I who try. Not understanding, it cannot be done, because even now we're talking, what is there is conditioned, arises and falls away, unknown, until there is attention to one characteristic, just one reality at a time, to understand the truth that it cannot be taken for anything or anyone at all. Seeing sees only, it cannot think, it cannot like. And like is not seeing, but it likes that which is seen. It dislikes that which is seen. It clings to that which is seen. Different reality from life to life, unknown until the realization of the truth, the Four Noble Truths taught by the Enlightenment. After his enlightenment, he said, Dhammas are so very subtle, so very deep. And that is the understanding, firm understanding of the truth to be known, to get closer and closer to one reality at a time. When there are so many realities together, anyone cannot know clearly at all because they are all together. But when it's just only one and only one, how can there be without understanding just one characteristic of a reality at a time, right now, not all together, but just one. Sound is sound. The reality which experiences sound is not sound. And what is there? Known, because they appear just one reality at a time, not together. So is there enough understanding of that which experience or not yet? And is there any understanding of that which is experienced as it is? Hardness is hardness, not anyone, not a chair, not a flower, not a pen. Hardness is hardness, and it can appear only through the body sense at moment when it's there. There is a reality which experiences it, otherwise it's not there appearing at all. Is that true? Just learn to understand the subtle reality that is so subtle. Without the words from the enlightened one, no one can think about it at all. Even at moment of hearing about the truth, ignorance is there, covers up the moment when it's there and it's gone. But that can be known by nimitta. We learn a little more about the truth to have more confidence of reality as no one at all. It's there by conditions, beyond anyone's control. The moment of death, the moment of birth, the moment of seeing, the moment of hearing, the moment of thinking. What is there now can be known. So it's time again to say Sawadee-ka.
สวัสดีค่ะอาจารย์
โมทนาค่ะ
Radhika.
สวัสดีครับ
Thank you.
สวัสดีครับ